What is up, everybody? Kodiak here from Learn Live. What's up, everybody? I'm gonna rip off Peter McKinnon yet again. It's so great to see your smiling faces behind the lens of this camera through the interwebs and all of the crazy things that go on to making this through the lens of Premiere Pro. So, without further ado, we are going to be starting a new segment called Vanlife Theory. What's Vanlife Theory? You're not asking? Well, I won't be telling you. Just kidding. Okay, Vanlife Theory is, to sum it up quickly, we're going to be talking about things that go into van life. So I'm not going to be talking about stuff like insulation until further on. But we're going to be talking about stuff like today's, which is how much water do you need to carry and why? Okay, that's something that a lot of people end up missizing their water tank. They have it too big of a tank, they have too small of a tank, their electrical needs don't match up with the water tank. Yeah, those do kind of matter. And we're going to be talking about it because that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to try to produce one of these a week. And if you guys like the way that this goes, if you like my personality or hate my personality with a passion and feel like just tearing me up in the comments of all my videos, go for it. Go for it. Bring it on. So, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to do all the little dealy boopers. And let's dive into Vanlife Theory. How big should your water tank be? Okay guys, Vanlife Theory, as you can tell from this title, we're going to be talking about water. So this is something that a lot of van lifers go back and forth on, and I see a lot of people moving towards getting the big water tanks. So do you want a massive water tank or do you want like a small little water tank? So Alicia and I in our first build ran with a 7-gallon freshwater tank and a 7-gallon gray water tank. But with that small of a water tank, it actually is a lot better. So we'll do pros and cons real quick. The pros to a big water tank, right? You don't have to fill up as often. That's a pro. The other pro is once it's installed, you don't really have to worry about it pretty much ever because installation is a little bit more difficult. Now pros for smaller freshwater tanks. Number one, you do not have to worry about finding a garden hose or some sort of hose to fill up at. So because our water tanks are actually removable and we can take them out easily, that means that we can literally walk into King Super, City Market, Walmart, and they have water fill-ups, and it's 33 cents a gallon. So 33 cents a gallon times 7 gallons, we can literally walk into a store and fill up our water anywhere we are. That is a huge bonus. Instead of trying to find an RV fill station or any sort of thing like that, go knock on someone's door to see if I can use their garden hose or do the more nefarious side and fill up my water without even asking them and hoping they don't walk outside. So that's one of the major reasons why I would highly suggest you need to look and decide if you want to do a big water tank in your build or a small water tank. On 7 gallons, Alicia and I can live in this van for a week and a half. But, mind you, we don't have a shower in here. That is one of the other pros to a big water tank. If you are going to be doing a shower or you are going to be doing a lot of stuff with a lot of water, like a toilet and a shower and all of this other stuff, you're going to have the infrastructure to support it. The nice part about a small water tank is it's a very simplistic, straightforward build. One of the other bonuses to a small water tank system is you can dump your water pretty much anywhere. So as long as you're not using anything harsh in your gray water tank, so you're using biodegradable soap and all of that fun stuff, then you can actually dump your water wherever you want because it's not going to be harmful. It's a little bit of food particles and water and some biodegradable soap. If that's the case, you can dump it anywhere and it's not going to kill anything. Which means it's going to be a lot less conspicuous when, you know, you're dumping 5 gallons of water onto grass somewhere in the middle of nowhere, opposed to dumping, if we have equal tank systems, if you have a 15 if you have a 25-gallon freshwater tank and a 25-gallon gray water tank, dumping 25 gallons of water is a lot of water to be dumping. And you're going to have to find a dump station because that much water is, you're going to be pretty obvious about it. One of the other nice parts about the water setup is you're much less likely to freeze it in the winter. So if you're up and you're going to be traveling and snowboarding, then the water system that you're probably going to have with the freshwater tank mounted underneath your van on the outside, because where else are you going to put a 50-gallon water tank? You're going to have to run a heater to that, which means more electrical, which means more solar, which means connecting it to your alternator, which means all of these other things that make life so much harder. With a 7-gallon freshwater tank, basically what we end up doing is it's stored in here completely in our sink system. So everything, and I'll show you here in a minute, but all of that water and all of that is regulated by the internal temperature of the van. So in the summer, yeah, it's a little warmer, and in the winter, it's a little colder, but it never gets colder than what our van is, and we live in it, so that means that it has to stay above freezing at least. Okay, everybody. So, 7-gallon gray water tank. Super simple setup. So this guy literally runs from the sink down into the gray water tank. Here's our fresh water tank. It's the exact same size. It's just a 7-gallon one you get from Walmart. And we have one line running up to a splitter back there that goes into the hot and the cold for the sink. So no matter where our handle adjustment is, you get the same water out of both. So super, super, super simple water setup. It is absolutely awesome. No, we don't run any of our water through a system that regulates pressure. We just leave our valve open all the time and just use the switch to turn off and on the pump. It's not the best, but honestly, it's the simplest, and it made our build even cheaper. So I highly suggest you guys think about doing something like that, where it's a very cheap style build, in the sense that you don't have a lot of components in there, because the more components you have, the more components are more likely to fail. So that's another major benefit to this, is you don't have to worry about it freezing in the winter. You also don't have to worry about your gray water tank freezing in the winter and cracking. Anything else about water? We have one of these. It's the plastic platypus bag, and it's the water bottle version. You saw me drinking out of it. We have two 2-liter versions of this. So whereas we only have 7 gallons of fresh water, we actually add 4 liters of water to that, because this is mainly what we boil noodles with, water sage our dog with. The reason we do that is because when we roll up to a spot at night, sometimes our water pump is a little bit loud for comfort if we're really close to an apartment complex or we're really close to people. So I don't like using that all the time. So these water bottles come in absolute handy. I'll go ahead and link them in the description if you want to check them out. They're really cheap. And the nice part is, once you're done using them, you can actually, I have water in this still, so I won't actually do it, but you can burp them and they become very thin. You can roll them up. They're just all around epic. So, side note, worth looking into for van life. To recap on Vanlife Theory, episode 1, think about running smaller tanks that you can actually keep within your van. Our tanks are all within our sink system, and it's a very, very simplistic sink setup. So that allows us to be freer with what we're doing, and it allows us to fill up water tanks in a store like Walmart, King Soopers, or City Market, where they have water fill-ups. Ultimately, your van is your build. And I highly suggest building your own van, because there's nothing more gratifying than living in something that you've built. So there's so many things to think about. Feel free, if you stumbled across this because you wanted to know what size of water tank you need for van life, feel free to ask me in the comments down below. We can talk about your unique situation, and I can give you an idea about what it's going to be like and what you're going to need and our needs. So Alicia, myself, and my dog But yeah, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button, that comment button, that subscribe button, the thumbs down button. I don't really care. Just hit something. Just show me you're there.